Snow struck the ranch like a quiet drumbeat, soft but relentless, when the knock came. Not the polite rap of a neighbor or the careless thud of a traveler, this knock carried desperation. Elias Crow froze with his hand still wrapped around a chipped mug, the fire popping low behind him. No one came to his door anymore. Not since the grave on the hill gained a wooden cross with his wife's name carved into it. The knock came again, firmer this time, as if whoever stood outside knew this might be their last chance. Elias opened the door to a wall of cold, and to a woman standing alone beneath the lantern's glow. Snow dusted her dark hair and clung to the worn wool shawl around her shoulders. Her eyes were steady, black as river stone, and filled with something that was not fear but resolve. She was Apache, he realized, her face sharp with exhaustion, her posture straight despite the storm. "I need a shelter," she said quietly. "Just for tonight, Christmas Eve. Of all nights." Elias felt the old instinct to retreat, to close the door on the world before it could take anything else from him. Grief had trained him well. But something in her voice, calm, dignified, stripped of pride, stilled his hand. He stepped aside without a word, and the woman crossed the threshold as if stepping onto sacred ground. Her name was Ayanna. She said it after she warmed her hands by the fire, after he set a bowl of stew before her without asking questions. She ate slowly, deliberately, as if honoring the food. Elias noticed how thin she was, how her boots had been mended too many times to count. She did not beg. She did not explain. She simply asked for shelter. Elias gave her the spare room. It had been untouched since Margaret died, her sewing basket still beneath the bed, dust thick on the windowsill. He hesitated before opening that door, but Ayanna met his glance and nodded, understanding something he hadn't said aloud. Loss recognizes loss. That night, the storm howled like a living thing. Elias lay awake, listening to the house breathe around him, aware of another heartbeat beneath his roof. He told himself it was just for one night. A kindness owed to the season. Nothing more. Morning came pale and quiet. Christmas Day dawned with a sky scrubbed clean, the world buried under white. Elias rose early, habit pulling him from sleep, and found Ayanna already awake, sweeping the floor with a handmade broom she'd found in the shed. "You don't have to do that," he said, startled. She paused, offering a small smile. "In my people's ways, we leave no place heavier than we found it." Something loosened in his chest. Over breakfast, she spoke more. Her husband had died the previous spring, taken by sickness after being forced from their land. Her family scattered, some gone to reservations, others vanished into the wide cruelty of the frontier. Winter found her alone, walking until her strength thinned like smoke. "I do not ask for forever," she said. "Only time to breathe." Elias looked at the empty chair across from him, the one Margaret used to sit in, and nodded. "You can stay until the snow breaks." Days passed. Then weeks. Ayanna proved as steady as sunrise. She mended fences, learned the rhythms of the ranch, spoke little but listened deeply. She sang softly while working, songs that carried sorrow and strength braided together. Elias found himself lingering near the barn just to hear her voice. It reminded him that grief did not have to be silent to be dignified. The town did not share his peace. Whispers followed Elias when he rode in for supplies. A few men spat near his boots. Others warned him in low voices about trouble and inviting danger. Elias said nothing. He had learned that arguments rarely healed wounds, only actions did. Trouble came, anyway. One afternoon, 3 men rode up hard, their horses snorting clouds into the cold air. They accused Ayanna of stealing livestock from nearby ranches. Lies, Elias knew instantly. But truth meant little when fear wanted blood. "She's under my roof," Elias said, stepping between them. His voice did not rise, but it did not yield. They left with threats, promising to return with the law. That night, Ayanna packed her things. "I will not bring fire to your door," she said. Elias closed the distance between them, surprised by the certainty in his own voice. "You didn't bring it. They did. And I won't let them chase you into the cold." She searched his face, perhaps for pity, perhaps for weakness. Finding neither, she nodded once and unpacked. The law came 2 days later. The sheriff, older and tired, listened to Elias, checked the records, found no missing cattle. The accusers slunk away, anger smoldering. The ranch remained quiet, but something had changed. That night, Elias dreamed of Margaret. She stood in the doorway, not sad, not distant, only peaceful. When he woke, his chest ached with something that wasn't grief. Spring crept in like a promise kept. Snow melted, grass returned, and Ayanna planted a small garden near the creek. Elias helped without being asked. Their hands brushed in the dirt, and neither pulled away. They spoke of the past more often then. Of Margaret's laugh. Of Ayanna's mother, who taught her to read the sky. Pain shared became lighter, like a burden split in two. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the land gold, Ayanna stopped beside him. In my people's stories, she said, home is not a place. It is who stands with you when the world turns cold. Elias swallowed. You've made this place warmer than it's been in years. She did not answer, but her hand found his. The town never fully accepted her. But respect grew, slow and stubborn. Ayanna helped deliver a baby during a storm. She tended the sick when a fever ran through the valley. People remembered kindness when they needed it most. By the next Christmas Eve, the ranch glowed with lantern light again. Laughter filled the rooms. Elias carved the turkey while Ayanna hummed a song that sounded like hope. When the knock came at the door that night, Elias smiled. Outside stood a traveler, cold and weary. I need a shelter, the stranger said. Elias stepped aside. You're welcome here. Ayanna met his eyes across the room, warmth and certainty shining there. The fire crackled. Snow fell softly. And in the quiet miracle of shared humanity, Elias understood at last. Love does not replace what was lost, it teaches the heart to hold more. That was the gift of Christmas. Not the erasing of sorrow, but the courage to open the door anyway.